You think you know the story of Christmas, right? Jolly old man, red suit, sleigh full of presents. But what if I told you that's only half the story? What if that's the sanitized version, and that underneath all the festive cheer, a secret war has been raging for centuries? This is a battle for the very soul of the holiday. And the figure we call Santa Claus? Well, he's not just a gift giver. He's the winner of a massive global cultural conquest. So let's unwrap the real story. Whoa. Okay. That does not sound like Jingle Bells. It sounds like something from a horror movie, but it's not. This is actual Christmas folklore. This is the dark counterpart to Saint Nicholas, the original enforcer of the naughty list. And for millions of people, this absolutely terrifying creature isn't some monster from a nightmare. He is a central part of the Christmas season. His name is Krampus. So yeah, Krampus. The name actually comes from the German word for claw. He's this ancient pre-Christian figure, and get this, he's supposedly the son of Hel, the Norse god of the underworld. He's the shadow of Saint Nicholas, the muscle, the monster who comes for you if you've been bad. And he is our first major clue that the story of Santa is way more complex and way more contested than we think. To really understand this war, we've got to go back to the beginning. Before the Coca-Cola ads, before the North Pole, there was a real person. And even before him, there were gods. So the nice side of our story starts way back in the 4th century with Saint Nicholas, a Greek bishop who was famous for his generosity. But even he has echoes of older figures, like the Norse god Odin, who used to ride his 8-legged horse across the sky during the winter solstice. And as these kind, gift-giving figures got more popular, the church started trying to stamp out their darker partners, like Krampus, basically driving them underground. And you can just see on this timeline how all these different legends slowly started to fuse together. Over centuries, the Greek saint, the Norse god, England's Happy Father Christmas, they all began to merge into one idea. But the figure that would end up dominating the entire world, he wasn't really an evolution, he was an invention. Okay, this is where the story gets really wild, because the global Santa Claus we all know today wasn't born from some ancient myth. He was deliberately manufactured in 19th century America. The Santa we recognize was basically built in 3 key steps. First, a famous poem gave him his personality and that magical sleigh. Then a cartoonist gave him his iconic look, the beard, the suit, the home address at the North Pole, and finally, the finishing touch. A global soda company turned him into a brand, locking in a single, standard image that would go on to conquer the entire world. But while this American-made Santa was going global, he wasn't exactly moving into an empty neighborhood. All over the world, ancient local gift givers, the original grandfathers of winter, were suddenly facing a superstar competitor they never saw coming. For instance, meet Ayaz Ata, the Frost Father. His story comes from ancient Tengrism, a belief system native to Central Asia. The legend says he was created from moonlight, and he's the one who brings the snow along with his granddaughter, Karkiz, the snow girl. He is a completely separate tradition with deep, deep roots. But this one tradition has so many different names and faces. In Azerbaijan, for instance, he's known as Shakta Baba, while in the Republic of Tatarstan, they call him Gush Babai. And way out in Siberia, in Yakutia, he's Chiskan. These are all just different facets of the same ancient figure. And every single one of them is now in direct competition with the one-size-fits-all, globally marketed Santa Claus. And what's really fascinating is how this all plays out today. In modern Azerbaijan, if you want to dress up and perform as Shakta Baba, you actually need an official license. It can cost up to $75. An ancient deity has literally become a regulated commercial character, forced to compete in a world that Santa now owns. And nowhere is this cultural showdown more obvious than in Europe, where Santa Claus is often seen not as the original, but as an American import, a direct competitor to centuries of local tradition. The absolute front line in this secret war might just be the Netherlands. Here, the American Santa Claus, who they call De Kerstman, goes head-to-head with their beloved original Sinterklaas. And trust me, they are not the same person. I mean, just look at the differences here. Sinterklaas arrives by steamboat from Spain in November. He's a thin bishop, not a portly elf. And his punishments? A bit more severe than a lump of coal. He might just take you back to Spain with him. You can see right here how Santa is a much simpler, more commercial-friendly version of a richer, more specific folklore. And the data shows this is a real battle. Check this out. 36% of the Dutch only give gifts on Santa Claus's day. He's still winning, but Santa, the Kerstman, has carved out a solid 21% share, with another 26% celebrating both. This isn't just a chart, it's a snapshot of a culture in transition, caught between its own history and a globalized icon.
But here's the twist. This isn't just a story about traditions being inevitably replaced. In this cultural clash, something really surprising is happening. All over the world, the old ways are fighting back.
And who's leading the charge? Our old friend Krampus. Once a pretty obscure alpine demon, he is exploding in global popularity. We're seeing him in movies, festivals. There's a real hunger for something more authentic and maybe a little edgier. Krampus has become a kind of anti-Santa, a symbol of cultural resistance.
So this secret war for Christmas is really a question about culture itself. When one single powerful story spreads across the whole globe, what happens to the thousands of local stories it replaces? And as we rediscover figures like Krampus and Ayaz Ata, are we just seeing the last gasp of dying traditions? Or is it the beginning of a powerful resurgence? That is the real story of Christmas, the one nobody is talking about.